If I had to pick a favorite silent film director, it would have to be Fritz Lang. Lang not only has outstanding visuals in his project, but he has engaging stories that complement them too. Woman in the Moon is no exception. The plot is very difficult to explain, but essentially, a scientist figures out a way to build a rocket and fly it to the moon, and is looking for a crew to accompany him. However, finding a crew proves to be difficult because other people have personal agendas with wanting to go to the moon, one of which is to control all the gold on the moon. It was 1929, let's give them some leeway here. Seeing as how Lang is the same man responsible for Metropolis, one would think that this film would echo some of the great sets and special effects, however, that's not the case. The majority of the film takes place on Earth, and reflects more on Lang's previous project, Spies. The film is more of a battle between human desire and technology. It takes a more realistic approach as to what would happen if the wrong people had such great and powerful technology, and it does it in a very clever way. Few sci-fi films put an emphasis on the people behind the technology. Most sci-fi films like to show off the world it creates with big technological advancements. Here, the world isn't very grand and pretty, it's actually pretty dirty and resembles more the 20s. It kind of shows that even with the invention of this advanced technology, the world we live in doesn't necessarily get better. It changes, but not in the way we thought it would. There's change for people who have this technology, but not for everyone else. They're left in the dust. It shows how technology helps fuel greed and shapes people into becoming cutthroats to get what they want. There's lots of espionage and double-crossing in this film. It's so entertaining that the film could have worked without having to go to the moon. I was so wrapped up in the politics of space travel and the conflict between characters that I was kinda disappointed when they finally got to the moon. Lang treats the subject with such intense realism that it kinda feels out of place when you see these characters walking on the moon with no spacesuits. But then again, it was 1929, so at least they got the mechanics of the rocket correct. In fact, the mechanics of launching the rocket were so scientifically accurate that when the Nazi Party came into power, they had the film pulled from circulation because the rockets resembled the war rockets they were working on at the time. I hope people aren't turned off by this movie because of the lack of sci-fi in it, because they'd be missing a very well-written and brilliant production about man's timeless battle between greed and technological advancements. Unfortunately, this film will always be overshadowed by Lang's Metropolis, but I hope one day people will be willing to look past those shadows and uncover this hidden gem.